on a community break.
Community vacation. I like that better.
Vacation. Yeah.
Welcome to Mac Marla's Unpopular Truth Show.
Well, actually, it's Christopher's, but anyways.
Is that what we're saying?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways. I'm really excited about this show. This is the first time we have done a show just for us.
Whoop whoop. And of course we are in war. Maybe we'll even do a couple of attacks later on. Yeah?
Sounds good. I know a lot of people have sort of been wondering what happened. And I guess it's just this.
Where did your notes go?
The Me Show. We're not in any Discord server. There's no voice channel tonight, so you guys are just going to have to deal with that. I think to start off with, like, I never do anything rashly. I'm probably already have a feeling something's going to go on. It's called intuition. That causes me to act. A clique is not a community. If you know everybody on your server, you are a clique. If new people don't want to engage in your community, you are a clique. And cliques are unhealthy to communities. And I find what ends up happening is a lot of times these servers end up being cliques.
Yeah, because it's the same people that are in there engaging over and over and over, and not even allowing room for new people to speak their piece or to say hello.
And a lot of these are like volunteer run, so we don't have a lot of time to develop good policies and codes of conduct to sort of manage these communities, especially when it's player run.
And that's just it, right? It's I think you hit on a point.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like right now I don't actually have the resources to be involved in a community at a level that I'm comfortable with. I just find that the toxicity always seeps in, and I mean, to some degree you have to deal with that, but on the other hand, like, there's an acceptable level and an unacceptable level, and it was just getting to be too much.
Yeah.
And this is our hobby, and it should be fun. It was taken away from my team, which is why this is for the lulz.
Which, by the way, is Last Outlaws, but as well, yes. Also lulz.
And I mean, that doesn't mean there isn't really great and amazing people in these communities and have lots of interesting things to share. I've had some very intelligent conversations. I've learned lots of great things in these communities, but it just, unfortunately, it just takes a single toxic person to ruin a whole group.
It's the whole one bad apple theory, right?
Well, yeah. And I mean, then the whole group is dysfunctional and it results in...
And it's, I think, Marla... yeah, I mean, I've learned so much from the community, and I do have to shout out the community, right? I have learned things from random people, and it's those engagements and those relationships that have certainly kept me engaged in this game. It's certainly not my relationship with Big Huge Games and how much they respect and adore me.
Right. Or how much so-and-so respects and adores me. It's about meeting new people, learning new things. That is what community is. It's not talking to the same people over and over again about the same things over and over again. it's just it's not productive. And evening.
Hey, Arya, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I guess, and to kind of outline or to add to your point about having a clique is sadly, and I mean, this isn't to say that like Marla said, having a clique is a bad thing for the community if that's what your end goal is going to be. But the events that are run, I don't find that they're branching out or reaching out to the new players or promoting the sense of community in a sense that I would like to see. And I don't know how to overcome that hurdle. I really don't.
Right. And I mean, that's really what we are about is, engaging new players, old players, players we haven't met, promoting sort of open events.
Yes.
Another thing is being really competitive is unhealthy. You don't believe me? Go ask a professional boxer that is now punch drunk. I don't think they really care if they were ever number one. I don't even know if they know.
You were almost number one.
You were almost number one. Big deal. You have no control over your life. You're lonely. You're isolated. You don't fit into your communities. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's where it's at. The other thing I want to go over is free to play does not mean fair. Fair is not long stacking. There's some of our unpopular truths that we wanted to go over. Making the game fair is not my problem. It's not the player's problem. Poaching people is not a way to create positivity within your community. I personally have lost my cool, and I have been very, very mean, which is why I have boundaries and I'm mean. I'm not immune to negativity. So, yeah. I don't have to do anything. So I guess
I too have completely lost control. I've lost it. I think everybody has. I mean, if you're passionate about anything, you tend to get emotional about various things and various topics.
My TV buddy used to try DomiNations and join WZ Discord
for the win.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
So,
nobody likes toxicity.
And largely, it's like drama can only exist if there are people willing to participate in it. So I must be doing something to attract this. So until I can identify what that is, I don't really feel like I should be involved in these things. Focusing only on one's own interest destroys trust and respect and leads to superficial relationships with others. One of the huge things is toxic people will condition you to believe that the problem isn't abusive behavior, but instead your reaction to it.
Hold on. I need you to read that one more time. It's important. It's important. I think it's vital and important that people are able to hear this and understand it. So I want you to read that one more time.
I mean, it's very, very important to me. I want to be open and inclusive, but there are some lines that just should not be crossed, and toxic people will condition you to believe that the problem isn't the abusive behavior, but instead your reaction to the abuse. And that happens a lot in these servers, and I'm just like, okay then. But on the other hand, you can't just go on somebody's word, so it's a difficult situation. So there's sort of a hurdle that I'm seeing right now. I don't see a good solution to that right now. But I mean,
it's hard, and I mean I agree. It's like, oh, you're overreacting to this, and oh, that's not that big of a deal, and
the other thing is, these people are the type of people, like, when you don't behave the way they want, or you don't accept the things they think, they do the hot and cold thing. One day they're your buddy, your best friend, whatever, and then the next day, they will go back to their other clique, and
or they're just too busy, or
yeah,
whatever the reasoning is, it's hot and cold. It's absolutely, best buddies for however long, and then the next thing you know, I'm too busy for this, and it's usually very shortly thereafter that that they're doing the flip, right?
Oh.
You don't like mine. Marla doesn't like my notes. Marla says that my notes are mean, and I kind of agree. I can be. I have the ability to be toxic, right? And you need to recognize that in yourself, I think.
And I think, at times we all are, and sometimes we're just having a bad day. And certainly, if it's just a slip up, I'm not talking about, those sort of occasions where it's just like,
you slipped up and you were.
Because toxic. I've been there.
I've most certainly been there, where I focused on the wrong things and felt entitled to things, and the focus as well is, I think, a primary point as well, right?
Right. And it's just like putting the responsibility where it belongs. None of this is really my responsibility.
Oh, I did have one good point there, right? What other people think about you is none of your business. How do you elaborate on that? I don't.
Well, the only opinion that really matters.
I want the mean notes. You want the mean notes? Can we share the mean notes? I'm not.
No.
I was told I wasn't allowed to.
No.
I've got some really unpopular truths, but they're not really unpopular truths. It's just me being, I think, a little bit too cruel.
Well, I think it's just like
I don't even know what it is.
Detox, so
I'm a little bit sour still.
It's oozing out.
It's
still oozing out.
It's still oozing out, and I'm trying. I'm working on it. Okay.
And I guess what other people think about you is none of your business. Is really like the only opinion that really matters is your own about yourself, because you are the most important person to you.
That's one of the ones that we didn't have down. The honesty factor. And it's not even a matter of being altruistic. For those of you not aware, being altruistic is like acting without thought of yourself. It's I don't know.
Right.
What's altruistic? That's what altruistic is, and it's not a matter of talking about that. It's about the honesty, about just simply admitting to yourself and being honest with others about what your intentions are.
Yeah.
What are your interests? What are your goals? Right?
And it's okay to say, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know where I'll be next week.
I'm open to this, and I'm not shutting any doors, but this is ultimately where I think I would like to go, but I'm not sold on it, right? You've got to be honest with yourself, and you've got to be able to express that honesty openly without fear of judgment in order to attract positive people.
Then let's be politically correct then. How much do you love the new... at first I really love the new museum. Now, I'm not too sure, because it's like, before I could look, especially in multiplayer, I could look at a base and know what to expect and be able to attack it with skill. Now, all of that is kind of like up in the air.
It's out the window. I have no idea.
So...
And for that reason, I try not to pay attention to it. I do like the loot bonus. I like the loot bonus. Let's be honest. I like that.
Yes, and I did notice with like the new artifacts, like they're a little bit more diverse. Like at first, jewelry was only like specific to
one era kind of thing.
not one era, but
what's funny is that
like jewelry was like loot only, or like a sort of base play, and armor was like protection, and yeah.
They've diversified it. I'm right now. The reason I'm going to bring this up is because right now I'm actually looking at a Tlaylock vessel, and what's funny about that?
Tlaylock
is that yeah, yes. Ryan's nickname is Iku Tlaylock.
Yes.
So
the other thing is, like, I play games because they're fun and entertaining. I want to be skillful, but I really don't want a game to consume my life. I have vast interests, and I initially got into this because I have kids who are going to be in these platforms, and I wanted to know what was going on.
So are you saying that curiosity brought you to the strive or the venture toward community?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I value people. I think people are amazing creatures.
Yeah. And okay, so with that in mind as well, it needs to be stated that in and amongst all of these kind of unpopular truths that we've rolled through as far as toxicity is that the behavior is not the person.
Right.
I love how much I'm looking for a rope now.
I think the first time I ever got caught cursing was at a video game. So it's like new to me to have somebody on the other end of that video game.
It's difficult, but I mean, I think it's, I don't know, I like being in the center of attention, I'll admit it. I think all the average loot jewelry before upgrading update ruin the slot.
Yeah. So
meh.
Machine guns are awesome. Especially
are you allowed to say that?
Especially if you're not.
If you're not well, okay.
Shooter nation.
Can I extrapolate on that one? That's an unpopular truth.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because like
people don't want to hear that, and people will argue that until they're blue in the face.
Against silos.
Well, machine guns are better. You just have to know how to rally. If you know how to rally and you know what troops to follow, then machine guns, they really are amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't use them when I was Korean or on my secondary.
Because that's a shooter nation. It only makes sense that you wouldn't. I guess that's the point, right? Is like the only problem with machine guns is that they do draw a lot of hit points, and therefore, if you're against a silo, right?
Well, no, you can't get anything reasonable. I don't play the game a lot. I like, I did notice there was changes. I haven't made a full decision on it, but I mean, I am seeing it more and more in gameplay. Like, I used to be able to assess a base when I was hitting it. Now I'm not sure I can. And because it is so random, it just, yeah, it's hit and miss. Because, I mean, what looks like an Enlightenment age base can very much feel like a,
hey Josh, what's going on, man?
It can feel like a industrial age base. I'm super excited about the rebalancing.
I heard a few things, and I saw that was it Sandbag DomiNations is leaving the community and leaving the game as a result of them announcing the balancing updates. I think it's been far too long before they actually, since they they should have been doing balancing updates a long time ago. Like since the induction of the game, they should have said,
I mean, they have been doing balancing all along. It just seems like.
I mean, overall troop balancing. I mean, like they should have that almost on a sliding scale, because there's metrics and maths that are available. I'm sure that Quali would agree, right?
Well, all the statistical people out there.
That's right. There's maths in order to actually figure out, what needs to happen in order to make these things equal, in order to actually offset these things. And they haven't been paying attention to those at all. So, quite frankly, I'm excited. I welcome the new balancing, and I hope that it's an ongoing, almost a monthly thing, right? To know that they're going to make some of the troops more viable and better to use, while nerfing other ones that I feel are far too overpowered, like elephant archers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can't disagree. Elephant archers, I mean, I'm even using some in our current war in Last Outlaws.
Right, and I just don't know, because I've been more involved on Facebook anyways, and it's sort of...
We're chillaxing there, so it's not a complete vacation. We couldn't leave Shanny high and dry. He'd cry.
Yeah. I didn't see the new banner, by the way.
Cough, cough.
From when we had been involved.
5 stars, perfect.
They directly mentioned 5 stars, perfect scores being too easy. However, I'm not sure.
Like, I think 5 stars should be a rarity. If you're facing it, like, at present, there is not a single base that is not 5-starable. Go talk to Hydra and ask him. He'll tell you the same thing. I'm sure he's attacked his base millions of times, right? So...
Well, I mean... I'm not sure. I think that was the political way of saying too many people are selectively upgrading and winning the game. But,
I think so. I think that's exactly what that is. Is like...
I've been never one to...
that was... Did you mention that one? The selectively upgrading is ruining the game. That's an unpopular truth. Sorry. You're not being sneaky or sly. Nobody thinks that you're pulling...
Sometimes it does make it more challenging, absolutely, but more often than not, it's just a sloppy, easy base.
But as far as sandbagging and selectively upgrading, they're on par. They're exactly the same. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like the same. Well, no, I don't want to categorize or box that. It's the environment that brings out that behavior. Some people are aware of it and do it for the wrong reasons. Most people just aren't. Or remove troop cards from the equation.
I haven't seen 5 stars on 0 TT Wars. Is that? But I mean, even the 0 TT 0 SH is a joke. That in and of itself is just
I've seen more YouTube videos on how 0 SH 0 TT hasn't been honored.
Yeah, like it's not a thing. It's just top tier alliances not wanting to waste their cards or spend money on more cards. And quite frankly, I get to play for free because they spend money. So no, I'm not going to support them not spending money. Carry on.
Yeah, and I mean the 0 TT Wars, I'm industrial age. I'm not sure it is possible for me to take out a atomic base.
In the industrial age?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it can be done. I've done it.
Oh no, I did.
I've done it with my Enlightened account. So
global. Anyways.
Here's me tooting my own horn. I've done it with my Enlightened account and some of the bigger cards from back then. And that's with a silo, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that I guess the point is
I've seen that, and I mean when we were 0 SH. Yeah, we were always just 0 SH, maybe.
No, we did do 0 SH, 0 TT. We did both for a while there. Just nerf the troop cards. You can bring less of them and stats of the OP ones reduced, problem very much reduced. And most certainly, I think that you need to make smart changes within the game in order to remove toxicity and in order to improve the gameplay, balance that playing field. But you also need to understand that, you know, free to play can exist in and alongside pay to win, and this is a prime example of that.
And I mean, just because you pay doesn't mean you're not skilled.
And that's not at all what's saying. I hate how people draw that parallel, right? All of a sudden, if you say, oh, well, your alliance sucks because you're sandbagging. No, likely their alliance is probably pretty good, if not great. And they're sandbagging for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. Or they're long stacking for whatever reason. So I hate how people draw that parallel. If you didn't have those troop cards that were paid for, you wouldn't be a very good attacker. Yeah, no, not true.
Well, not always true.
Not always true. There's certain people that it is true for, I'm sure. But overall, I don't believe that. What about speed ups?
Speed ups? I think I have 20 minutes of them.
You have 20 minutes of add more items to speed up this task. Sure, I'd love to.
Maybe 8 of them. I don't know. So, and like I said, time will tell with that. I think it's good to have that introduced into the game. Although I'm like another building, really.
I think they're adding more and more buildings. Like I'm running out of space.
Another leader to research. It's like, am I gonna get to global by this winter? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to press that button sometime.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. But
The ultimate tactician. Hannibal as a level 21 general.
well, and the reality is, like, yes, Nexon is a business company, but also there's people employed there that need to eat daily.
Really?
And that's just how it is.
That's just where it's at.
I have played a lot of games, and I mean, if a game is too pay to win, and because most of them, because traditionally when I got into like sort of this free to play games, it was on my PC. I was on mat leave with my first child, and it was playing like puzzle games for free, and I had to watch ads. But I mean, the leaderboards on all of those games, none of them were multiplayer.
Sorry, I need to see it work.
All of the leaderboards were the pay-to-win players.
And that's
Or,
okay.
like,
I'm missing a coffee. I certainly hope there is a balance, but I mean, there's lots that needs to be done. I mean, that's, and I think sadly their inaction or lack of communication has added to the cliques within the what we call community, has led to the falsification between clique and community, and has led to toxicity to a large extent by myself, by others, and even like to date in regard to stacking, and in regard to long stacking, in regard to, right, there's a lot of things they haven't addressed.
yeah, but that's not our responsibility, and that's not other players' responsibility, and I mean...
But that's an agreement. The people that you're talking to have to agree that it's not your responsibility or their responsibility to fix these things.
However, just because I can acknowledge that it's not my responsibility or their responsibility doesn't mean I engage in that sort of behavior.
Yeah, see that. Oh, look, you're tagged and you haven't even opened the war plan. That is you, isn't it?
2:03 p.m. I told you it was this afternoon. Sorry, I haven't been on since 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my goodness. And I mean, like,
Oh, this guy's.
I quite enjoy my alliance. We have a reliable crew there. And I mean, there's no toxicity there, so I don't understand why I can't reproduce that outside of my team.
It's, well, because I think our team has been very slow growing. And I'm sure there's other teams that exist that are non-toxic.
Oh, and there are.
That just don't,
Certainly.
you know, I know at least, you know, 2 others that are non-toxic, right? Are we allowed to name names? No, I didn't think so. I know at least 2 that are also non-toxic.
Well, I've been to quite a few that aren't.
Oh, I'm sure that there's more that exist, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I have been to some that exist, and I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I probably don't want to associate with that.
Rawr. You're reading my notes.
No,
don't read my notes. You should just minimize those before they fall out of your mouth and you get in trouble and people are like, "Oh, you're so hateful."
I'm not, though. I mean,
No, I know. That's why you told me not to read my notes on the live stream.
we're detoxing. Sorry. I mean, it's hard to be not judgmental about it, but it's like,
I find it very difficult.
It's not my place. Just because I have a greater view of how it affects things or see that larger picture, it doesn't mean everybody else sees it that way, and that's okay. Because, and I guess really what we need to focus on, because when you act with sincerity, integrity, and honesty, you will find, and this is a quote, find greater contentment and attract people who love you for who you really are. I don't really think I need to be loved, but I certainly want to be around people who value me, and
Undergo core remaining in atomic. Oh, there's a question. Nah, I'm gonna hang out here. I'll be a 260 atomic player. I feel it necessary. I don't know.
and I just don't feel like we have enough of those people. And there are people in the community who do act that way. There's actually quite a few of them. Oh, thanks, Aria.
You're so sweet. Maturity. Has she ever really talked to me then?
No,
That's the M part of M&C gaming.
no, it's
Mature.
not. It's not.
Oh.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know.
What? You know, it's a time factor. It's a time factor. It's
Yeah, and
like,
I mean, the people that are, it's a huge commitment for somebody to take on. And I just, at this point, I feel like it's too much to ask. There's still some barriers I'm seeing.
when we have an epiphany and we have figured out how to break down these barriers and how to actually validly have a community that runs community events, then we'll work on it. You know, there's a few events that I saw in the pipelines that I frankly think could be very much community events, but they need to be, and I love it, I think that should be the new word, not clique events, right? Clique events meaning it's all the top Cold War players and atomic players and all the people that are really well known, not a clique event, a community event. And that's what I want to see, right? things that are engaging and actively seeking out the community. And I think the best way to do that is obviously by means of big, huge games, right?
Yes. So.
Hey, Gath.
And I'm just not sure they are ready for that.
I don't think they are. Because like you said, it's a huge undertaking, right?
It is.
It's a huge undertaking. Like you can't... I unless you're getting paid for it, right? And in which case, if you're getting paid for it, they might call you a community manager. But I don't think that's the role, right? I think the role is much different than how we perceive it should be, as far as community manager. I mean, I'm referring to Tin Soldier. I don't think his job description is really in line with what we're talking about here tonight, as far as community versus clique, and other, unpopular truths. I don't think that's where he's at, and that's not to say that he's,
I don't
not interested.
No, I think
because in order to engage and actually attract and build a community rather than a clique, you would have to be reaching new players,
right?
And that's the difficulty. That's what I'm kind of the challenge I'm facing, because I work full time.
And I mean, a lot of the reason why we were driven to Discord, and I mean, this was before even Tim's time, was the forums were just like full of trolls.
I was drawn to Discord because I'm a geek and I saw the potential of the voice channels complemented with the great potential that it had as far as text.
So, yeah.
That's why I was drawn to it. I've got to admit, I didn't care about all of you. I was interested in Discord because I thought it was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it's as a geek, I still, it's awesome. So, I don't know, like how, I'd love to see the comments or in the chat as far as how you validly build a community and stay community focused and not turn cliquey. How do you do that?
Yeah, because I want to meet everybody. It's just like I want to know everything.
And I want everybody to be, welcomed.
Yeah.
Right?
I
want people to feel welcomed. I want to be able to expand the community. I want to be able to have new conversations.
But that doesn't mean allowing other toxic players.
There's lines.
Yeah.
There's lines, and as long as that toxic behavior exists, and by toxic, and I mean, I'm not sure if it was brought up as far as like passive aggressive and toxicity being in line with one another. I can imagine being especially heavy on mobile gaming.
Don't dwell in the drama.
Don't dwell on the drama, certainly.
Yeah.
It's a matter of focus, I think. I agree with that.
These people are just prone to dramatics, and it's like when you're in a leadership role, you have to...
It's that passive-aggressive, entitled, toxic behavior. It's like, well, just stop and regain some composure and focus and understand that what other people think of you is none of your business. And then move on. Without fear.
I don't dwell in the drama. I mean, that's why I stepped down. I mean, this isn't my responsibility. This is my interest.
Yeah. I think it should be drawing in
the biggest number of casual players. That is true, because also, like, being in an unengaged alliance is equally as bad as a hyper-competitive one. There's no growth.
It's such a small market that you're playing with, right? Like, there's a very limited market there to be had as far as YouTube, as far as these things. I mean, realistically, I think we're probably one of the longer standing YouTubers. I mean, Matt DomiNations, Stabmaster, but I'm not even sure. I haven't seen much new from him. Not as of late.
Yeah.
And he's a line guy, right? Like, he's a line guy. He's not on Discord that often, but I mean, very kind, very nice to chat with.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I think DomiNations needs to work on is there are language barriers, and in a lot of other games, I can interact with
those built-in translators. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, the built-in translators, so you can engage a broader
broader market.
well, not even a market, it's just like I mean, I like the different point of views, and it's interesting to learn new things about different cultures and to be able to speak with people from other cultures. I mean, right now I'm in a dead guild in Lords Mobile, but I found the same problem there. It was either like totally yucky now toxic, just a little bit like over involved toxic to the point that it was obnoxious, or completely dead. But there I spent a lot of time in a Spanish guild, and like it was just a Spanish speaking guild, and it was just interesting to
Most people just want to jump in and play more about game to be
and that might just be true. And maybe it's just a matter of letting the cliques be cliques and
going at it from there. But I don't disagree with that. I mean, I think it's hard not to itemize and box people in as far as that goes. But I mean, if you can engage with more people, if you can involve more people, and that involvement becomes relatively simplistic, it's not all time consuming. You still have the ability to actually just go to work and participate in these things naturally, I guess, while playing the game. And that's the problem, I think, as well, is that, like you said, the reason it gears more towards a clique and leads in that direction is because there's a lot of people that are hyper involved. And Marla outlined the leadership of a community and not having the resources to do so. It's because I work, I'm sorry. I mean, heaven forbid you have a job, right? And I don't have the ability to play on my phone or to, a lot of the times, even to talk on the phone. I'm working. Sorry. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to...
Well, and I mean, it depends on your profession too, right?
Well, I mean, when I was working in IT, yeah, I had a little bit more time, but that doesn't mean or excuse that behavior. I don't think that people should be on a community wasting company time in order to chat. I understand that there's lulls and some people can do it. I was able to do it. I was able to do it very well within my profession in the IT industry. And I think it is healthy to a certain extent, right? It's the same as Facebook.
And I mean, it's just like people without jobs. That's why game is like, and how I got into gaming is, when I first started my mat leave, and, there's retired people in the community. There's people who have illnesses that don't allow them to participate in their communities. So everybody should be able to play games at work. I agree. It would probably increase productivity.
I don't even have data. I don't even have data when I go to work. Like, I'm not... I enjoy my job.
Yeah, but like, you're in construction right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you're building stuff.
I am. I'm building stuff.
You get to play with tools.
I'm
every
fixing
day.
stuff, and I'm building stuff, and I'm hacking stuff up, and I mean, we're doing some pretty intense stuff as far as being able to work with various companies that are global companies, getting products from them that we can test out and play with and make some amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm engaged at work. I like my job. Best way to kill productivity. Yeah. And I mean,
I don't
yes and no.
know.
When I worked in the IT industry, like I worked for a fairly large, when I was younger, I worked for a fairly large scale ISP, and I was ranked in the top 10 in the call center all across Canada. And I did this all while playing games and being chatty on the internet and being social, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, we live in a pretty small community, so I don't have access to a lot of diverse people. Well, no, it's just I don't.
There's a stigma there, yeah.
Yeah, and I live in a community that is not exactly accepting of outsiders, even though I'm from Canada, living in Canada. I know Canadians are a little weird that way. And my family has history here since like the 1700s. But I'm still an outsider.
That's right. Because you weren't born here.
That's right.
So.
But. So I mean, certainly, I still think there could be some value here. It's not.
Are you even training your army? Why don't you train your army? I'm going to go find my coffee.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Can you fill mine up?
What?
Please?
Okay. Fill my coffee.
Okay. Let's Scout 13. Anyways, enough about this community talk. Focus on the real stuff. The game. The real game, which is where the game should stay. Well then.
What? What did I do?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is supposed to be the me show.
This is
for the lulz.
That's right. All for the lulz. I better mute myself while I chew. Excuse me.
Oh, how do I mute you?
I got it.
Oh, you've got a button. And snacks.
I found my people too.
Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna come in here. Yeah, I'm gonna come in here.
Do you've actually got your war army trained?
No.
Oh. I don't know what I'm gonna do against my target. He's kind of big. Well, I know what I'm gonna do.
I was trying to finish the event today. I better not attack 13 with this account. The team might be a little disappointed. Although it would be kind of funny.
Was that me? That was my account?
Yes. I'm just happy.
Tappy. Patience.
Patience.
Back when Marla and I were doing a lot more in front of a computer, she would exhibit these spats of impatience where she would click 5,000 times on things, and when it didn't open, she would continue to click, and then she would get frustrated and she would finally stop clicking and sit down, only to have it open that many times. And you'd be like, well, why didn't you just wait the first time? You're in IT, you're just supposed to make it work. Yeah. Right?
All right.
She's quiet.
Absolutely. Yes, I use my rifles when I'm raiding. However, they're not appropriate for war. Sorry. I don't know if I'm gonna get this event done, to be honest. Like, I'm close, but like far away.
Thanks, buddy. You too, and thanks for tuning in.
Aw, thanks.
Time zones are painful at times. At times, time zone. Yeah. Anyways, there was a pun somewhere in there that was better than mine.
Yeah. Okay. So. Oh, the other thing I wanted to touch on was like all these new like tiered sales.
They've been going on for some time. They've kind of reworked them. So effectively what they're saying is if you give us more money, you don't have the option to buy like the third tier right away. So you have to give them like $100 in order to get that tier 3 reward. But if you give them $5, you get the first tier. I don't know. It's a money grab. It's a money grab.
And maybe the way to go is like back. I mean, one of the research papers I did read was like, if you want to avoid that, go back to console and PC.
Really?
Yeah.
That was their answer?
Well, there's just less of it in those sort of platforms because, you know.
But I mean, the videos that we watched, as far as I don't know what game it was. You got those on backwards. That's your problem. Here, I'll help you out. You focus. If you do it that way,
then
it'll probably be pointing at your face hole.
Okay.
I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
I don't think I need trip cards, but like, I'll take some just in case.
I don't even have mine on my actual head.
I'll add that.
Couple sepoys.
Yeah.
Those Fruillis are monsters at killing bases too.
I don't want monsters.
Pirates. Arr.
Arr.
Who doesn't like pirates?
I love pirates.
How many clicks does it take to get to the center of a lollipop? Is that actually a question? Because I know that that's like an old advert. That's a really old commercial. Are you dating yourself? Just a little bit, maybe?
And
Bubba?
not like dating yourself as,
Yeah,
Anyways.
not that kind of dating yourself. We're talking age. Age. Above the board, people. What's going on here? Yep, that's right. Oh, look at that. Ugh. Why don't we just move that and you can stare at... See, now I'm above a coffee cup. Sorry about that. Sometimes I'm just not really aware of the fact that there's a camera there. Go ahead and just set stuff in front of it.
Yeah, I know.
And I say, hey, yeah. What's going on? What's going on, Peter? Monsieur Herrera. Oh, hold on. Do you hear that? That's not the sound of
I don't even have...
justice. It's the sound of fate. The train is coming.
Right.
I totally understood dating. Literally dating yourself. Oh, Arya, you're so sweet. There's always like 5 different meanings of things, and it's always like... It's like you making fun of me saying throw it up there.
I know.
Right?
Or when I say doo-doo.
When you say doo-doo. But I mean, that's like an old Friends reference, right? When he just laughed every time somebody said doo-doo. Is that actually... Did I give you your recommended target?
No.
Oh.
It's like 2 down from my recommended.
Oh, well, fine. Never mind then. Where is that? I can give you some troops. I think. Maybe. If you're lucky.
I don't know.
Only if you're lucky.
Need those, but I can do it, so I will.
What did you do?
I got my coalitions.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't feel like I need them. Slowly, my generals are going up.
Yeah, I had a friend that was very savantish in that sense, and he said that it was extremely difficult because he did take things very literal all the time. I just logged... Okay. What are we doing here?
I got something from Raj.
Okay. Ethiopian. I'm not even gonna say anything. All right, do it. Do it. You can do it. Hashtag autism. Should we go over
tanks?
Pardon?
Did I drop my tanks? I think I dropped my tanks. I don't even have a full army. That's funny.
You don't need a full army. You've got this.
No, I don't think I do.
It's like a little baby
generals.
industrial. Just... Did you drop your mercs? Yeah, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Cool. If you could be a toxic cookie, what kind would you be?
A gluten-free kind. Or maybe a gluten kind, because that would be
toxic.
For me.
With egg. Toxic gluten cookie with egg.
That's right.
If I could be a toxic cookie, what kind would I be? That's a really interesting question. You should throw a decoy over there to help out your generals.
My generals are...
Down by their generals.
Down by their generals.
Never mind. You should continue to play.
Okay, now that you have me all distracted.
Sorry.
Thank you for that wonderful tip.
Thanks, Tips. Do you secretly hope that the rebalance will boost machine gunners?
I know it well.
I know it well. All of a sudden everybody's going to be like, see, he was on to something.
No, I don't think they need to be buffed at all. I just don't think people understand how to use them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people providing content are either most are shooter nations. And so most of the information is coming from shooter nations, which...
So, the bad news is that I'm seriously talking, and I am going to be switching my Tyler account. Marla's been playing with machine gunners. I have with bomber and clan with mortars. We're ready. They're already balanced, Kappa. Yeah, they are. They're already balanced.
I think commandos aren't balanced because nobody uses them.
Well, I mean that's just it. Like, look at the troops. How often are they being used? They're not being used. Oh, never mind. Maybe we should do something about that.
I mean, when they were first introduced, they were like way cool.
Everybody was all excited about them.
And I mean, really, how many people use motors?
Mortar guys?
Motor guys. I don't know.
Clan McLeod swears by them.
I know.
Or
Well,
yours.
he I wanted to use them, and everybody's like, no, and he was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he swears by them. He's like, I run with 3
he's
in
the
my
one who
army.
encouraged me to use them, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it, and I don't care.
See, bomb is with me. Machine gunners are overpowered. It's a fact. Like if you're running Versailles and you are running with a coalition that boosts your factory troops in war, then go with it. And they stand in front of the mortars and they take it. They just take a beating and just carry on. They're like, that's nice.
Yeah, like, see, when I'm raiding, I don't care if I lose my rifles.
This game. We were talking about this game earlier. It's a great game. Boof! See? Look at that. So awesome. Commandos are like anti-blitz troops.
And, okay, I've trained a total of 1
Blimp?
blimp.
Yeah. The next patch.
They're
They're
nerfing.
nerfing Greeks and machine guns.
Please, I'm
Hey,
low.
thanks.
I'm
Thanks,
low
Gav.
on scrolls here.
Speaking of which,
And, like,
they're
really,
gonna nerf
if you're
Greeks.
just, like, if you're not going to give the Japanese anything good, just get rid of them. I really have enough silk for probably a lifetime.
You think so?
No, not really,
No.
but, like,
A couple wars at least. But no, you've got a point. Like the nation rebalancing is the next thing that should be on there. Like there's an overall rebalancing happening, but they need to talk about a nation rebalancing where they actually make being a Greek player over global is viable, right? Or at least attractive. Like you can be French and still you're all right.
yeah. I
Well, now
have
shoot
9
itself.
5-minute speed ups.
You have 9 5-minute speed ups?
Yeah.
Holy. That's
9.
you're balling. You're balling. Check it out.
I know, right?
That's like a whole 45 minutes, right? That's almost an hour,
45 minutes closer to being global.
right? Carry on. I quite frankly think if they introduce a new building moving forward, that if you're, say, for example, you're a Cold War player or an atomic player, whatever level you are, whatever the maximum level it is for your age, it should be free and instant to upgrade to that. Or that -1.
You're saying Greeks under global are viable.
Yes, I am. Absolutely. That's exactly what I am saying.
Well, I mean, because a lot of those younger ages, well, and now you're probably spending more time in those ages, but you're not spending a lot of time there, and the economic gains, it makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. And I mean, that's why I was Greek for so long.
Japanese town center will now shoot itself. Fixed.
Fixed. Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. I don't know.
Like, yeah, there is a very negative view against the Greeks.
Oh, and that's
Wow.
why I stuck with Greek for so long, is because I'm just like that.
Well, yeah, it's just like somebody's
the-
got to give you scrolls.
That's the imp. That's the imp in me, and that was my giving back to the people, was by remaining Greek up until the point that I was atomic.
They have families. It's murder. I can't mute mine, can I?
You can't what?
I can't mute mine, can I? I can only hold my coffee. I can't drink it.
You can drink it. Why can't you? I don't know why you can't, but all right. I have been focused actually, and I've got Churchill up to level 31.
Oh.
That makes me happy. We're now working on Joan, and after
Nope's
that,
only at 15.
25. You're blind, eh?
I'm pretty sure that it says 1-5.
That's 20. You don't believe me? Oh, Nobunaga. That's Nobunaga.
Yeah.
He's only at 15.
I have my glasses on tonight so I could see.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry. All right, we got a little bit of a war army trained here. You'll notice that I do have a ton of elephants. Look at that. Whoop whoop. I did slap down an elephant archer or elephant stable, which is awesome. Should we destroy it? No. This is only good, like the siege elephant. I don't know who uses siege elephants, but elephant archers.
But they're so pretty.
They are. They're very pretty. Both of them are, though, right? I mean.
No, I'm sorry because I like red.
So the siege elephant is the way to go for you?
Yeah.
All right. So that's where that's at. What am I working on? I'm upgrading some stuff. I don't know. I'm upgrading some stuff. We're in a war. I'm going to attack this guy. He didn't have all these war coalitions up when I was assigning targets. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been like, yeah, I can totally take that guy. We actually have a brand new fandangled system for assigning our war targets for us effectively. So I got to give a huge shout out to World PT. Absolutely amazing job. He played with some math, stuck it in a spreadsheet, and now it's like as simple as you can possibly get it, I think, or close to it. If I can use it, it's pretty simple.
You think elephant archers add a negative connotation in the game?
I think so. Not a negative connotation. I don't think it. No, it's a negative. Do I think? I think the OP nature, the OP nature of elephant archers, adds negativity to. No, I mean, how would you phrase that, Marla?
I think it encourages toxic behavior.
I think it does.
So yeah.
This guy's fairly stout, so it's gonna be good.
I would say it encourages and breeds that behavior in humans. So yes, it should be nerfed.
I'm gonna go attack this guy. We're gonna kill some stuff. We're gonna drop some troop cards. It'll be fun.
Well, that might be so, but they could do other things that are good for their bank account.
What do we have here? I could have sworn that I had. Okay, maybe I didn't. Never mind then.
I'm sure, because I mean, it's an extensive subject, because not only do you have to research communities, you have to research toxicity, you have to, and I mean, toxicity is a relatively new thing, and then there's covert aggression and passive aggressive behavior and the overt, and I mean, really the overt is the easiest to deal with. Like, if somebody comes at you and swears at you, that's really, like, just like, that's nice. Especially in public, because, that's not going to be tolerated. And, I mean...
Toxic behaviors in game? Trolling behavior. Following people around where you're just harassing them.
Yes. Harassing people for information you don't need to know or is none of your business. These not being honest about what your goals actually are or what you're willing to commit. And I mean, certainly, the first time you sort of look it over, but when somebody stands you up the fourth or fifth time, you gotta go, and I mean, it's just... And I mean, you also don't want to pressure people into things they can't commit to. So, I mean... Whose question was zapped? No, I don't think anybody's question was zapped.
No!
I don't have to answer anything if I don't want to, but you can lay it out there. Clint is blocked from my YouTube channel.
What?
What?
Yeah, you heard that correctly.
I think I need to go over this. And Chris got me to read it twice earlier, so let's just go over this.
Again.
Toxic people condition you to believe that the problem isn't the abusive behavior, but instead your reaction to the abuse. Once the relationship is sour, they run back to everyone they once insulted to you, lamenting about how crazy you've become.
Awful time.
So I think there's a level of tolerance that is acceptable, but other behaviors should not be tolerated. And you'd have to do something pretty severe for me to block you. I think we have like 5 people blocked.
It's just, I don't know. How's about you just be honest and forthright about what your intentions and interests are, understand and act on the basis and pretense that what other people think of you is none of your business, but be who you're going to be.
Yeah, and behave in a manner that is with sincerity, integrity, and honesty.
Then there you go.
I think that's the responsibility of community leadership. And if another leader isn't behaving that way, why would you include them?
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, and it's the passive-aggressive, toxic behavior. I mean, that's why we're on a community hiatus. Community vacation. Whoop, whoop. It's just in order to realign where we want to be and what our actual goals and focus should be, and in order to actually realign and reassess.
Well, because previously we had been quite involved in the communities.
Because toxicity had become involved in the cliques, and as well.
I mean, it's important to me because my kids play these games.
Yeah. I think it's vital. I mean, we've always tried to remain a PG channel.
Well, tried.
I mean, we're family focused though, right? Like we try and be as inclusive as possible, right? Yeah. I think that's a crab. Is that a crab? Or is that a lobster? What is that?
That's a crab.
Is that a crab?
Yeah, and I mean, that's what drove my interest in all of this, is my kids, because I noticed the toxicity in a kid's game, and I didn't like what it was teaching her, but it got awards for being like really good and awesome and blah blah blah, but it was teaching her to
troll other people and to be dishonest with other people in regard to what her intentions were.
Yeah.
And it was encouraging this behavior, and it almost to a certain extent rewarded this behavior. And as a result, it was like, wait a minute, like, where is she learning this from? And then we figured it out, and lo and behold, here we are. And I mean, this is
And I mean, it is a role of game makers and the players to keep that at bay. And there needs to be certain things involved in the development of a game to keep those behaviors in check.
What the hell? Ah. I love how this alliance of nothing but Cold War players is rolling over us. I don't know how that happened. I 5-star my target because I was trying to keep up with you, but I can't say that it was easy.
But I see that my old clicky friends are here, so I think this is a good time to wrap up. Everybody, have a good night.
As always.
Don't keep your sticks on your ice. Keep the game in the game, and have fun.